NSFW, Pornstars of Reddit. Have you ever been approached by a fan? If so, what did they say? Might as well ask the astronauts of Reddit a few questions. Astronauts of Reddit, are you even aware of how many pictures I have of Uranus? Lol. Not a porn star. Never knew a porn star. And I'm not related to a porn star. But once I was watching SpongeBob and then I threw up so hard it came out of both my nostrils in my mouth. Hey, I jacked off to you before. I'm not a porn star, but I have photographed a few. I shoot for a few websites. Had a couple of conversations about them being recognized. It's usually just staring, as most folk don't want to admit they recognize the monsieur whenever they've been actually approached. It's always been a polite-ish, I'm a fan type thing, usually with a request for a pic. Only heard one bad experience where a guy whispered "slut" at her as she passed him in the street. Like, hey, it's cool for me to beat my meat to you, but you're a slut for making the material I fap to. Kind of a pot calling the kettle black situation. CEO of expecting too much from Reddit. Mia Khalifa met some fans. One time someone took a photo of her without her permission. She hit him. But I bet this story is already widely known. And understandable. Why would she care though? Pretty much the entirety of the internet has seen her pussy getting pounded to death, so why bother to hit someone over a picture? That was already at the point where she regretted doing porn and wanted to be left alone with this kind of stuff, so she probably just lost her temper. Happens to everyone. Losing your temper bad enough to hit a stranger doesn't happen to everyone. Losing your temper, sure, that happens to anyone. Putting your hands on someone? Nah, that only happens to immature and irresponsible psychos after a certain age. Which I guess she is, if everything I've read about her is true. What have you read about her? She's generally crazy in her post-porn life. Incredibly entitled and temperamental. There was this one case where she was introduced in a radio show as a former porn star and she flipped out. She just regrets her obviously moronic decision to do porn and is lashing out on anyone who calls attention to it, even though she owes her fame to porn. They asked for a picture together, and possibly my number if I was willing. I'm not that famous, so I was surprised to be recognized. This particular fan was very well-mannered, so it wasn't a bad surprise. It's a new feeling knowing that this person got off to me and was right in front of me, admitting it before I even knew their name. See it firsthand. Watch a Kim Kardashian paparazzi video. I once got thanked for the show by a person I hadn't known was watching. Does that count? My ex did cam stuff for a bit. Weird shit like getting paid €400 to wash her hair and shave and stuff by people. Then someone came on and called her by her full name. All three names like Jennifer Jaden Blass hit, not a real name. And she freaked out and stopped cam work. It got personal. Knowing the family, it was probably her dad. Creepy fuck. Why so many obscure questions? There's only like 150k people on right now. The odds of a porn star seeing this are very unlikely. Sorry, you have these types of thoughts post-nut. These are your post-nut thoughts. When your head is at its clearest. Jesus fucking Christ, what kinda cringy shit pops in your head before your nut? Adult stars of Reddit, what's the best sex you sexed that you could not unsex? Adult stars of Reddit, how is Babby formed? I like to keep those locked away. If it gets upvoted it stays up higher though, and it will. As a former star, I've had a few encounters. Usually it's polite, yet excitable people who want to ask a bunch of questions about the girls. Like, how can they get with the monsieur, though the awkward encounters came about when I was with my GF. She of course knew of my job, though to have guys ask when her video was coming out was cringy. Our team at work went bowling once. Just once. This is the UK. Bowling is shit. Anyway, there was a reasonably fit platinum blonde, in thigh-high boots, and tattoos, with some black bodybuilder types. One of my colleagues confidentially whispers to us, "That's Delta White." And we all go, who the fuck's Delta White? Quote, we're not very polite. And he informs us she is a British porn star from Babe Station and other stuff. We all instantly Google her and mumble incoherently, oh, so she is, and ignored them completely. But gave our colleague a hard time for blatantly admitting he watches porn, which we nearly all do. We just don't talk about whilst bowling. First rule of bowling club, which only ever met once. Yeah, I've seen her at the View Cinemas in Watford. I'd assume you saw her at Hollywood Bowl next door. It was actually in Finchley, the bowling next to the View Cinema there. So, in global terms, pretty fucking close. Maybe slightly relevant. I once ran into a girl who used to post a lot to NSFW subreddits. I smiled at her, said hi like I would with anyone else, and left her alone. I just don't think mentioning her post would make for a very good conversation without being incredibly creepy or uncomfortable for both of us. And to be honest, it just felt a little weird. I wasn't remotely attracted to her IRL, and it looked like she had some confidence issues. I suspect that her posts were a way for her to take control of her image and confidence. You, Awful69, this is for you. Have you thought about asking your mother? *S***. They asked if I had already been approached by a fan and wanted to know what that fan had said. I am not a porn star. I had a friendship with a then-retired porn star. She was recognized a few times while we were out. Guys would just point her out to their friends, but it was women who would approach. Usually just the same stuff. Hi, big fan. Love you in whatever scene, and then they would move on. She said she rarely had any problems. This would have been over 10 years ago, before porn got as mainstream. Sonic might be different now. I thought those balls look familiar. They're not on Reddit. Check Instagram, monsieur. Question that'll go nowhere but gets upvoted because less sex. I hope at least one of them got a thank you for your service. Former amateur porn actress here. Never been recognized in public. But as soon as someone finds out you did work in that industry, suddenly you're 1000% more interesting, and everyone has 100 questions about what it was like, how you got into it, etc. But you always have to make sure the person that knows is trustworthy, because they now have the potential to ruin your life, especially if your family doesn't know what you did. May I ask what motivated you to start doing porn? Genuine question. Thanks. Yay, Reddit is filled with people getting laid. Saw Mia Khalifa once on the street of Copenhagen. I was too shy to approach. As a gay porn star, I've been recognized, but mostly by people I already know. I got a text from a friend saying I was on the front of the gay Pornhub page. As for in person, I've never been really spotted by some stranger. I also am not a huge name in porn, so I don't have an extensive catalog, lol. I'd imagine if recognized they'd be approached the way actors are. Isn't that what the AVN awards are for? I have been watching Sasha Grey be a normal person, or try to, and I think to myself, is it hard to find someone to just love you? But she does have a mean-ass collection of Latin music. Presidents of Reddit have. Hi, I'm a fan. Sauce. I once asked a porn star where a particular music bar was. They obliged with directions. That was it. I have no idea whether they recognized me. They did not require an autograph. Dude in my ethics class once asked who my favorite philosopher was. That was weird. I think he was getting a little too ahead of himself. Gods of Reddit, does the Pope have the right to change your words? Does sending 1,000s of unsolicited dick pics to women on Tinder count as a porn star? Not a porn star. I once worked with a guy who tried amateur porn because he was in a pinch. Whenever people learned about it at work, he got a lot of attention. But other than that, I mean, if he was hung like a horse, I'm sure women gave him lots of food attention. Nah, it was mostly men that were interested. WTF. What kind of question is this? Back in the early 90s, when I was in the Navy, I flew from Norfolk to San Diego to see a friend of mine stationed there and spend Labor Day weekend partying in LA. We were chilling out in Santa Monica, walking towards the pier, and I just stopped when this brunette walked by. I turned and looked, then looked again. I had a bit of something, a receipt maybe. So I ran back and said, "Excuse me, could I get your autograph?" Quote. She looks at me, my haircut, my buddy who's like the fuck. She says, "What's your name, soldier?" Quote. I replied, "Sailor. And it's Scott." She laughed quick and goes, "That'd do it. Not a lot to watch on the ship." Hey, she signed the thing, shook my hand, and away we went. Last time I saw that piece of paper was like 15 years ago. Lost it somewhere along the way, but it's etched in my memory. Scott. Love ya. Stay safe. Christie Canyon. I've heard stories that they do not like being approached in public, largely because of any negative attention they receive and people thinking they are easy because they are porn stars. I've met Hitomi Tanaka in person once when she was in NYC. And that was that. I didn't expect anything out of her. When I told some dudes on Discord, they were disappointed I didn't sleep with her because she is a porn star. She'll do it with anybody, and I started to understand why they react the way they do. I wouldn't be surprised if most are defensive and prefer to keep their IRL life out of their professional life, even going so far as to apply makeup differently to avoid any kind of recognition. If this blows up, please can somebody reply to my comment and tell me so I can come back and read it? Hey, it's not done that yet. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.